especially with the policies that the GOP so far has put into place. So this is, again, another one of these situations that progressives want to do. Trump said he wants to do during the campaign, but completely, once he got into office and appointed the richest cabinet in modern history. Look it up, it's true. And a lot of those people have connections to the healthcare industry. They knew they were not going to fight to lower these prescription drug prices because it is something that directly benefits them. It's why so many people love to sell their prescription drugs in the U.S. It's really quite a big problem. And it's that problem that we see, and it's also another problem that just continues to be ignored and completely ignored by the American by our American politicians. So but here's the thing: health industry profits are not the only evidence of how the rich are profiting, and Americans, as we literally just saw, regular Americans' wages just staying relatively stagnant. If you want to call 0.2% a big jump, you can, but I don't think many people will. That's not the only evidence of how the rich are getting richer and the middle class are not really getting any richer at all. They're not necessarily getting poorer, but they are not getting any richer. Yesterday, Apple announced it had become the first company valued at $1 trillion. As the New York Times noted, a 2017 study by economists at the University College of London showed that the difference between how much it costs American companies to make their products and how much they sell those products for is now higher than it's been since at least 1950. So it's been a big difference. These products could be way, way, way cheaper, but the system we are currently in right now has enabled these companies to spike these prices, whether it be through a lack of other options or whatever kind of economic system we want to blame, economic factor you want to blame it on. The rich are just still continuing to profit. Apple has made so much money that's currently sitting on $267 billion in cash reserve. $267 billion just sitting there. Meanwhile, again, 40% of Americans can't cover the expense of a $400 emergency. These realities are inextricably related. That's the important thing to realize. Now, from a slightly disturbing story too, and by the way, speaking of something inextricably good, we have a great story for you coming up next. But just finally, about this entire story, does this seem fair or sustainable? No, it isn't. But who has the time or money to try to do anything about it? Everyone's working all day just to buy their insulin. And that's the situation that we've been put in. And talk about something bad, the NRA, they've been up to no good, but they could be in trouble. They are claiming now they're in grave financial trouble. They could soon be unable to exist in its current form. The NRA, the country's largest and most profitable pro-gun group, warned in a recent court filing that is in grave financial trouble. Its woes apparently seem to stem from a push by New York Governor Andrew Cuomo urging insurance and financial services companies to cut ties with the NRA. The group claimed if the trend continues, it could be unable to exist. In the July 20th court filing, and by the way, credit to Andrew Cuomo, if I were him and I was running for governor in New York and I was facing a relatively tough primary challenge in Cynthia Nixon, I would be all over this. I'd put in the NRA blames Governor Andrew Cuomo for it being in quote grave financial danger. That's gonna draw a lot of liberal eyes to you, as it really should. The NRA's lawyers detailed financial losses they say have been suffered as a direct result of the Cuomo campaign. Most critically, the NRA said it's been unable to renew its media liability insurance, which it called for a practical necessity for any controversial speaker. Without that insurance, the NRA said it could be forced to shut down NRA TV, its digital media network, known for things such as videos with fanatical spokeswoman Dana Loesch, or that crazy, absolute conservative Grant Stinchfield talking about random things that are almost never related to guns, or various print publications and magazines. So they could be forced to shut down all their media platforms. There still probably would exist. They wouldn't go to bankruptcy, but here's a good thing: they would be at least seriously shut down. So the NRA also argued in its complaint that Cuomo, along with New York financial regulators, has caused tens of millions of dollars in damages through a blacklisting campaign which threatens their day-to-day operations. Without a general liability coverage, the group warned it will be unable to convene off-site meetings and events or run educational programs. Overall, it said the financial squeeze could leave it unable to exist as a non-for-profit or pursue its advocacy mission. That's something that is very, very encouraging for any liberal to hear, because the NRA has been in the pockets of politicians since as long as I can remember, always tamping down and always changing the conversation away from guns and gun advocates throughout this entire situation. It's very, very encouraging to see that they are finally filtering away into nothing. Yeah. So that is something that we all love to see here, and when we find out something we want to see, I don't know, let's find out more. Yeah, so why not? And yeah, so the lawsuit stems from actions taken by the New York financial regulators to halt the sale of an illegal NRA-branded insurance policy. The NRA actively marketed Carry Guard, a policy to reimburse members for legal costs incurred after firing a legal gun. In May, the state of New York found that Carry Guard unlawfully provided liability insurance to gun owners for certain acts of intentional wrongdoing. The NRA insurance partners agreed to stop selling the policies and pay a $7 million fine. And as the gun policy news site The Trace reported on Wednesday, Carry Guard program was positioned as a cornerstone as the NRA planned to keep money rolling in under President Trump. One former employee of Ackerman McQueen, this is from The Trace, an advertising and public relations agency known to shape the NRA and certain strategy and certain programs, said the group was counting on Carry Guard to provide revenue after Trump's 2016 election win. With Trump in the White House and Republicans leading Congress, the NRA could not plausibly motivate its membership to reach for their wallets by raising the specter of federal gun control. As we know, gun sales always increase under Democratic presidents and under mass shootings, in past mass shootings, because of the possibility of federal gun control. With that in mind, the NRA's best interest is to paint a financial outlook as dire in courts, especially if it can claim that it's a result of aggression by anti-gun Democrats. Still, it provides a blueprint for how to snuff out the NRA once and for all. Money makes things go. It's always been the truth. For the people we've seen go, it's been, again, money, 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 money. For example, one example that immediately springs to mind, Bill O'Reilly. Advertised boycott, he gone. That's simply it. Yeah. Money makes things go. If you make it untenable or deeply unpopular to associate with the NRA, the money spigot will slowly but surely be turned off. And that seems to be it. And it is it with this story. Speaking of a dangerous organization, the White House, they really kind of launched on an anti-press tirade after first demanding members of the White House press corps only ask questions about foreign cyber attacks on the U.S. Sarah Huckabee Sanders locked horns with CNN's Jim Acosta during her press briefing on Thursday over President Trump's repeated attacks on the media. When Acosta pressed Sanders multiple times to say the press is not the enemy of the people, a phrase Trump has deployed on numerous occasions, she not only refused to do so, but went on an anti-press tirade. Here's the clip.
She asked you about Ivanka Trump's statement that the press is not the enemy of the people. And she asked you whether or not the press is the enemy of the people. You read off a laundry list of your concerns about the press and things that you feel like are misreported, but you did not say that the press is not the enemy of the people. And I think it would be a good thing if you were to say right here at this briefing that the press, the people who are gathered in this room right now, doing their jobs every day, asking questions of officials like the ones you brought forward earlier, are not the enemy of the people. I think we deserve that.
I think the president has made his position known. I also think it's ironic.
Would you mind telling us,
I'm
Sarah,
trying to answer your question.
Okay, well,
I politely waited, and I even called on you despite the fact that you interrupted me while calling on your colleague.
Well,
I said it's ironic.
Which is why I interrupted.
I'm trying.
But if you finish, if you would not mind letting me have a follow-up, that would be fine. But
it's ironic Jim, that not only you and the media attack the president for his rhetoric when they frequently lower the level of conversation in this country. Repeatedly, the media resorts to personal attacks without any content other than to incite anger. The media has attacked me personally on a number of occasions, including your own network, said I should be harassed as a life sentence, that I should be choked. ICE officials are not welcomed in their place of worship, and personal information is shared on the internet. When I was hosted by the Correspondents Association, of which almost all of you are members of, you brought a comedian up to attack my appearance and call me a traitor to my own gender. In fact, as I know, I'm the first press secretary in the history of the United States that's required Secret Service protection. The media continues to ratchet up the verbal assault against the president and everyone in this administration, and certainly we have a role to play, but the media has a role to play for the discourse in this country as well.
Yeah, so there she is talking and responding there to Jim Acosta, who then actually walked out of the press briefing, which is pretty crazy. So Acosta acknowledged that everyone, including politics reporters, get put through the meat grinder in the town of Washington, D.C. He also apologized, and by the way, I do find that quite funny. That she decided to attack the reporters for bringing Michelle Wolf when almost all of them were like, "We're so sorry, Sarah," literally the next day. So I appreciate your passion and I share it, Sanders replied. She didn't give Acosta what he asked for though, and he tweeted it was a reason enough for him to walk out of the press briefing. And by the way, who cares? For someone who actively hates the press, the press bringing up Michelle Wolf for some light barbs against Sarah Ugly Sanders is come on. Are we really going to do this here? And the fact that she didn't apologize, she pretty much earned my complete respect for that. She is someone, Michelle Wolf is someone who doesn't, take any punches. She's a pretty funny comedian. She called ICE. I highly recommend you check out her video about ICE on her new Netflix show. Very good stuff. Very good work there. But yeah, I really do like it. Anyway, so that tense interaction came... Anyway, I digress here. The tense interaction came after Acosta was assailed by jeers from Trump supporters at a rally in Tampa earlier this week. But as Politico's Michael Calderon pointed out on Twitter, anyone who's stunned by this turn of events have not been paying attention. Trump has spent years, including before he was president, trying to delegitimize the press. Calling Sanders has been all too happy to take up on her own. So this is probably the most anti-Trump press administration ever, it feels like. So it only makes sense that this would be what would happen here. Yeah. So this is some pretty good, interesting story happening here in a progressive state, Hawaii. So Representative Tulsi Gabbard, an Iraq War veteran who has represented Hawaii's 2nd congressional district since 2012, is up for one of the most popular politicians in the state. Up for re-election, she's expected to cruise past her primary opponents and then go on to victory in the general. Despite that, or some observers say because of it, she has refused to debate her challengers. The representative, who will be challenged by 2 Democrats in the August 11th primary, has not participated in a primary debate since her 2012 election. She faced a primary challenger in 2014. Constituents and the local press have taken note of the issue, which has been widely publicized by Gabbard's political opponents, who are pointing to her controversial positions on human rights issues as a red flag. Gabbard's campaign did not respond to The Intercept's request for an interview, but here's the thing. Hawaii News Now has been trying for over a month now to arrange a debate between the 2 candidates, but Gabbard has been declined to participate. In early July, The Intercept reports candidates running for governor, lieutenant governor, and Congress in the state's 1st district all gathered for a super debate. The local news outlet tried to organize a debate between Gabbard and Sherry Alu Campagna, Gabbard's best-known challenger, but the incumbent declined to appear. Her campaign told Hawaii News Now in an email that Tulsi will not be participating in a debate as she continues to communicate directly with voters across the district. So, here's a good way to communicate directly with voters, Tulsi. How about you show the voters why your positions are better than the Democratic challenger who is trying to get past you. So, it's likely that Hawaii, being the incredibly blue state that it is going to be a Democrat who's going to win. But the thing is, it's going to be very, 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 very tough to really convince, and it's likely still anyway that she will win, but it's going to be very, very tough for voters to really say, like, did she really